morning. Good morning, everybody. Give people a few moments to join in here. I'm not going to be playing music today due to copyright infringements and not wanting to get the video shut down. So I encourage you to put on anything you prefer that will help you relax today. Maybe you don't want any music. And what is relaxing isn't the same for everyone. Some people are into classical. I play a lot of my yoga classes to old school hip hop. So this is Mindfulness Monday. We're going to tune into how we're feeling and what we need. There's a lot of high energy, heavy energy. These are high stress times, times of uncertainty, anxiety. There's only a few things that we have control over: ourselves, our breathing, the way we're responding to all of these things. So that's what we're going to focus on today, is overall mindfulness. Our body stores a lot of information. Sometimes we're just so distracted by everything external, it's hard to connect with that. We're going to take this time to reflect, breathe, and listen to what our body and our spirit is already trying to tell us. So starting in a comfortable seated position. Again, that doesn't have to be the same for everyone. You don't have to necessarily even sit cross-legged. If you have knee problems, you can bring your legs a little bit further apart, away from your body. You can also use blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can use books, pillows to place them underneath your knees. Sometimes it helps if you sit on a block or a pillow, so your hips are just slightly above your knees. It makes it a little bit more easy to sit up straight. Alright, can you guys see me on this Facebook one? I'm doing both at the same time. Yeah, there we go. Just taking a moment, get comfortable, set the mood, set the vibe, set the energy. You know what's best for you right now than anybody. Once you're ready, let's close our eyes. I like doing that because I feel like it helps shift your awareness inward, so you're not distracted by everything external that's going on around you, especially when you're in your house. It's sometimes hard to get centered. So with your eyes closed, let's just focus on our breathing. Is it feeling shallow? That's often a flight or fight response if we're feeling stressed or fearful, like we all probably are right now. And let's just slow that down. So we're going to regain that control over our mind, over our breathing. Take another deep inhale. Fill your lungs to maximum capacity. Let your belly spill out and get wide. And then on an exhale, you're going to press your belly button back towards your spine. Feeling that breath rise back up out of the lungs and through the nose. Do it a few more times. Deep inhale. Full, complete exhale. Another very deep inhale. Full, complete exhale. We're going to take some very subtle moving meditation. So this time as you inhale, try to lengthen the spine by reaching the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. So you're sitting up just a bit straighter, making sure we're not slouched over like this. So inhale, lengthening. On an exhale, roll those shoulder blades back and down the spine. We'll do that a few more times. Inhale, see if we could sit up a little bit taller. Exhale, releasing, rolling those shoulder blades back and down the spine. One more time. And this time on an exhale, I want you to drop your left ear over to your left shoulder. So the only things moving is your neck, remaining with that nice straight spine. Take a very deep inhale. On an exhale, we're going to crawl this right hand away from our body. So you want to feel the stretch now engaging on the top of the shoulder as well as the right side of the neck. You want to go a little bit further. Let's inhale this left hand all the way up by our right ear. As you exhale, let the weight of the arm gently increase the stretch on the right side. Another deep inhale. On an exhale, we're going to start to take some yes motions with the head. So inhaling the head forward, exhaling back. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Doing that a few more times, but this time, if you feel any areas that have extra tension, using that mindfulness, we're going to stop, pause, and breathe into wherever you're feeling it in the body. Allowing the breath to reoxygenate whatever you may be holding. Another deep inhale. On an exhale, we're going to drop this left hand down to the mat, spine remaining straight, releasing the chin to the chest. This time, inhaling both hands up and overhead. Interlacing fingers at the top, bringing the hands to the back of the head, just above the neck. Turn to the side so you can see me. And then you want to drop the elbows all the way down toward your face. Feeling a deep stretch on the back of the neck this time. Again, try not to crunch forward. Only thing moving is our neck. This time we're going to take some no motions with the head. So begin to inhale to one side. Exhale to the other. So 2 more times. Inhaling to one side. Exhaling to the other. Have you already lost control of that breathing? That's the most important part here, the most important exercise. Remain connected to that deep diaphragmatic breathing the whole next hour we're going to be here. And then, again, stopping, pausing, breathing, whatever you may be feeling it in the back of the neck. We hold a lot of tension here. One more time. Exhale as you release both hands back down towards the mat. Inhale that right ear over to the right shoulder. Exhale, crawl those left hands away from the body. Feeling that stretch engage along the tops of the shoulder and the neck. If you want to go further, inhaling this right hand all the way up by our left ear. Exhale, allowing the weight of the arm to just gently increase the stretch on that left side. Again, deep inhale. Exhale, moving into those yes motions on this side. Noticing which side feels is holding more tension than the other. That will give you a great indication of which side you're a little bit more dominant in your day-to-day life. And like all things, through awareness is the first step towards creating change. One more deep inhale wherever you're at. Exhale, releasing the hand back down towards the mat. We're going to bring both the hands to the knees and just come into some half neck rolls here. Still keeping that breath synchronized to the movement. Inhaling from one side. Exhaling to the other. If it feels comfortable for you and you don't have any pinching or crunching in the back of the neck, you can come into some full neck rolls. Now that you have this deeper range of motion, see if you can stop, pause, and breathe into wherever you're feeling that tension. Maybe even stopping, pausing, breathing into where you're feeling that extra space of stress in the body. If you're with me, on the next exhale, let's rotate the opposite direction. Inhaling forward. Exhaling back. One more time on our next inhale, let's come up to a straight neutral spine. And on an exhale, roll those shoulder blades back and down the spine, sitting up tall. Then inhale, crunch those shoulders up towards the ears. Again, using mindfulness. How many times do you find yourself like that throughout the day from stress, anxiety? I know I do. So let's respond with our breath. Exhale, roll the shoulders back and down the spine. Notice how all the muscles begin to soften. You immediately feel tension physically released from the body. So a few more times, coming into some shoulder rolls. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Rotating the opposite direction this time. Maybe even want to take some alternating sides. Whatever kind of free movement your body's asking for. Listen to that teacher. And let's exhale, coming back into a straight neutral spine. We're going to inhale the arms out to a T. On an exhale, bring the hands to the tops of the shoulders. We're going to make some super big circles with our elbows, just getting into a little bit more range of motion, mobility for the shoulders. Same thing, inhaling, bringing those elbows all the way up to the ceiling. Exhale, rolling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. On your next exhale, let's rotate the opposite direction. Inhaling up. Exhaling back. One more time. And then on the exhale, we're going to bring the arms out to a T. Making sure we're sitting up with a nice straight spine. Really try to reach the left hand out to the left. Reach that right hand out to the right. So you should feel a nice stretch all along the tops of the shoulders. Taking a deep inhale. On an exhale, you're going to cross your right arm either all the way over towards the left side. If you have more flexibility, maybe you can come into some eagle arms by taking this right hand, lacing it underneath the left arm. Wrapping the forearms around, bringing the palms to center. Or that variation, if you take the right hand all the way across, take your left elbow, either hook it before or after, or behind I should say, your right elbow. So two different variations to get a nice deep stretch for the back of the shoulders. I'm going to show the eagle arms variation. If you're with me, on an inhale, even if you can't quite get your forearms wrapped all the way around, we're going to reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling. On an exhale, you're going to press your forearms away from your body. If you took that modified variation, every exhale, see if you could pull the right arm closer towards your body. As you inhale, see if you can sit up a little bit taller. Wherever you're at, we're all going to do that 2 more times. Inhaling up, exhaling away. One more deep inhale. On an exhale, extend those arms all the way out to a T. You're going to interlace your fingers behind you. Roll your shoulder blades back and down the spine as much as you can, and reach your fist away from your body. If you want to go even further, maybe you can drop your fist down towards the mat. Exhale as you roll those shoulders back even further, maybe dropping the head all the way back. Let's slowly inhale, coming back up to center. Extending those arms out to a T. On an exhale, taking whatever variation you did on the other side, either crossing this left arm over towards the right side, hooking the right elbow in front of or behind the left elbow, or you can interlace the left arm underneath the right, wrap those forearms around, palms come together if they can. On an inhale, fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhale, forearms away from the elbows. Deep inhale. Exhale, forearms away. Let's slowly unwind, coming back to center, arms out to a T. One more time, exhale, taking that little back bend, either reaching those forearms away from the body and the hands and the fists towards the mat, or maybe you can even drop the fists all the way down towards the ground. Roll the shoulder blades back even further and let the head drop back. Slowly coming back into a neutral seated position. Let's bring the hands back towards the knees. We're going to move into more of a seated cat-cow pose now that we have the neck and the shoulders warmed up. So on an inhale, you're going to roll the shoulder blades back and down the spine, reaching that chest forward so you feel a stretch in the mid-back. On an exhale, you're rounding back, pulling out of the shoulder blades a lot so you feel a stretch all on the back of the shoulders. Let's inhale forward. Exhaling back. Inhaling forward. Exhaling back. We're going to do that 2 more times, trying to go a little bit further with that range of motion each time. So exhaling back. On your next inhale, let's come back to a seated neutral position. And then we're going to start to make some small circles with the upper torso. So inhale, pulling this chest forward. Exhale, rounding back. This time pulling it in the front or the sides of the low back, mid back, shoulders. This is one of my favorites for overall mindfulness, body control, awareness, noticing where you're holding tension, maybe spots you weren't even aware of. Try to go a little bit further with that range of motion and that rotation each time. Having some technical difficulties over here. Hang with me. But that's what life is all about, baby. We just gotta roll with the punches. Okay. On your next exhale, let's rotate the opposite direction. So keeping that breath synchronized to your movement. One more deep inhale. And then on the exhale, you're going to crawl the hands away from the body, letting the chest sink towards the ground. Take another deep inhale here. And then on the exhale, you're just going to start to let the upper torso sway side to side. Let it hang heavy. This is an amazing one to loosen up the low back and sides of the low back. So if you have low back pain, this would be a great one to incorporate on your day-to-day routine. All right, on your next exhale, let's come back to center. Inhale, crawl your fingertips away from your body just a little further. Let the chest hang heavy. Taking a deep inhale here. On the exhale, we're going to stay low, walking the hands over towards the left side. So as far as you can go, you should feel a nice stretch all along the sides of the low back here. If you want to go even further, you're going to crawl these right fingertips away from the body. Maybe even picking up this right hand, placing it on top of your left hand. Okay, let's inhale, coming back to center. On an exhale, staying low, walking all the way over to the other side. Same thing, to go a little further, you're going to crawl those left fingertips away from the body, maybe even picking up this left hand, placing it on top of the right hand. Inhaling back to center. Exhale over to the left side one more time. Holding it here. Noticing which side's holding more tension. If you do choose to do this on your own moving forward, you could always just hold it a little longer on the side that's feeling the tightest. All right. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling over to the other side. One more time. Inhaling back to center. Then we're going to shift onto our hands and knees in a tabletop position. Moving into some cat-cows, we're going to have a much deeper back bend, spinal lubrication, mobility, flexibility. So on an inhale, drop that belly. Let the hips and the shoulders shift up towards the ceiling. Feel a deep stretch in the mid-back. On an exhale, you're going to press into the mat, rounding the spine, tucking the tailbone, lifting up and out of the shoulder blades. Let's inhale, release. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, releasing. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, releasing. Then on the next exhale, maybe you want to start taking some free movement, making some small circles with the hips. You can shift the hips side to side. Whatever feels nice and comfortable for you. This is one of my favorite poses to again focus on body awareness. Mindful Monday. Notice what your body's trying to tell you. Where are you holding the tension right now? Or maybe you're not. This is your chance to give you what you need. And on our next inhale, let's come back to center. And on exhale, you're going to shift your hips all the way back towards your heels in a child's pose position. So bringing the forehead all the way down towards the mat. If you want to make it a little more active, lift your elbows off the mat and press into the ground. So you're trying to press your hips back towards your heels like they may touch even if they don't quite. Right, on your next inhale, we're going to come back to a neutral tabletop position. On an exhale, we're going to shift the weight forward into the hands, dropping the hips down towards the mat, slowly bending the elbows, keeping them glued in towards your side, coming almost all the way down towards the mat in a cobra pose. So keeping the shoulders lifted. If you want to go even further and make sure you're not using your hands, let's pick up those hands. Strengthening the back muscles here. On an exhale, dropping the hands back down towards the mat. Inhaling to a tabletop position. Exhaling, child's pose. Inhaling, tabletop. Exhaling, dropping the hips one more time. This time, coming halfway down. So we are using our arm muscles, our triceps. Keep those elbows glued into the side. Deep inhale here. Slowly shift back into that tabletop position. Exhale, releasing to a child's pose. One more time. Inhaling to tabletop. Exhaling, dropping the hips. This time, if it's comfortable for the low back and you don't feel any pinching or pain, keep those arms straight. You can always bend them if that's too much for you. If you do come all the way up, make sure we're lifting up and out of our shoulder blades so they're not crunched up like this by our ears. Keeping the elbows glued into the side so they're touching our rib cage, but slowly lower down. Inhale back into a neutral tabletop position. On an exhale, we're going to tuck our toes, straighten our legs, moving into a downward facing dog. So from here, if your hips are feeling really tight, you can bring your legs further apart, or you can start to just bend one knee, straighten the other, alternating sides. Walking out your dog. Again, noticing where you're feeling that tension, stretching out the hamstrings. So spreading your fingers wide, make sure you're not dumping all the weight into your arms. You can counter that by pressing the chest back towards the thighs. Your hips are automatically going to shift up towards the ceiling. Then you can try to straighten the legs as much as you can, reaching your heels down towards the ground. Do it a few more times wherever you're at. Breathe into it. Don't forget your breathing. On an inhale, let's shift into a plank position. Exhaling back to a downward facing dog. Doing that 2 more times. Inhaling forward to a plank. Exhaling back. Try to shift your chest a little bit back towards your thighs even more with each exhale. Inhaling forward. Exhaling back. On your next inhale, let's look in between the hands. We're going to pick up this left foot. Slowly with control, engage the core. Try to step the left foot all the way up to the outside of your left hand. We're going to keep this right leg straight. If you're with me, you can always drop it if that's too much. If you can lift that right knee, press the back of the knee up towards the ceiling. That's going to help you straighten your leg. And then you're pressing your heel down towards the ground. Very deep stretch for those calves, hamstrings. Tight for a lot of people. One more deep inhale. Press the back of the heel back down to the mat. On an exhale, you can untuck the toes, drop that right knee, coming into a low lunge on the left side. If your hips are feeling really tight here, you can walk your left foot out towards the left, even taking it off your mat. For a more intense stretch, you're going to keep that left foot directly underneath your left knee. Wherever you're at, you're going to take a deep inhale. On an exhale, we're going to start to bend the elbows as much or as little as you want. This is a really intense stretch. So if it's too much for you to bring your forearms all the way down towards the ground, you can always use a block, a book, some pillows to ease your way. Because unlike a lot of other physical activities and sports, with yoga you can't rush things. You can't rush getting into this pose without seriously effing yourself up. It teaches you a lot of patience, control, and ultimately that's how we get and achieve most goals in life. If you want to go a little bit further, we can work on some mobility by inhaling onto the outside edge of that left foot, letting the left knee open out to the left. Exhale, planting the bottom of the foot back down to the mat. Inhaling away. Exhale, planting that foot. One more time. Exhale, releasing the bottom of the foot back down to the mat. We're slowly going to start to walk the hands back towards the body. Bring both of the hands to the left knee. So you can make any adjustments if you're feeling a bit off balance here. You want to make sure that your right leg is as far back as you could get it. If you're in this little box, you're not really getting much of a stretch. So if you're with me, on an inhale, we're going to bring both the hands up towards the ceiling. On an exhale, bend a little bit further into that left knee. One more deep inhale. On an exhale, if you want to go even further, so you're feeling a stretch on the right side of the hip this time, you're going to drop this left hand down, maybe just let it hang to your side. Maybe you can actually touch the ground with your hand, and then maybe you can reach your right hand all the way over to the left. Inhaling both hands up and overhead. Exhale, planting both hands to either side of that left foot. Inhale as you straighten that left leg. So again, if you can't quite bring your fingers all the way down to the mat, you can always use any kind of prop to help give you a little bit more support. If you can easily touch the ground, let's see if you can walk those hands away from your body. And then you want to press your toes into the mat so you're feeling a stretch in the front of the ankle and shin. And your next inhale is come halfway up. You're going to slide your left foot away from your body. Flex your left toes back towards your body a lot. So this time you are feeling it all along the back of the leg. Taking a deep inhale. On an exhale, drop the weight from your right hip towards your right heel. Whew. You'll feel a much more intense stretch all along the back of the leg. If you want to go even further and feel a nice deep stretch for the IT band, that large band of muscle that runs from your hip all the way down to your ankle. This is great for runners. You're going to reach this right hand to the outside of that left leg. Keep those toes flexed back towards your body. Inhale back to center. In back into that left knee. Then you're going to heel toe walk this left foot all the way over to the right side, coming into a pigeon pose. This is challenging for many. A lot of people automatically will dump their weight all the way over to the left, and that can hurt your lower back over time. Important to keep your hips centered. If you can't quite do that, again, you can take any kind of prop, pillow, book, block, place it underneath your left hip so your weight's evenly distributed. And once you feel that balance, whenever you're ready, actually let's all walk our hands back towards our body. Take a deep inhale. Straight spine. Releasing. Walking the hands away from the body. Lowering the chest all the way down towards the mat. From here, you can make some additional modifications. If that's feeling too intense for you, you can bring your left foot closer to your body. If you want to make it even more extreme and an intense stretch, walk your left foot away from your body. And try to get your left leg as much of a 90-degree angle as is comfortable for you. On your next inhale, we're going to start to walk the hands back towards the body. We're going to keep the right hand planted, bend your right knee, reach back with your left hand, and grab your foot. Okay, so if you can do this, we're going to see if we can go a little bit further. On an inhale, you're pulling that right leg into your body. On an exhale, you're shifting the weight into your right hand. You should feel this from your knee all the way to your hip flexor on the right side. So one more time, inhaling that foot into the body, exhaling the weight into the hand. All right, slowly releasing the hand and the foot back down to the mat. You're going to tuck these right toes underneath you, lift the right knee, engage the core to step this left foot back to meet the right into a plank position. Deep inhale here, exhale, shifting back into a downward facing dog. Again, take a few moments, walk out your dog here, bending one leg, straightening the other. You can always take a child's pose at any time. This is Mindful Monday, so you got to listen to your body, listen to yourself. Notice the difference between discomfort and pain. Discomfort is something that can help us grow, challenges that make us stronger. Unnecessary pain, I don't know about you guys, I would like to avoid that if I can. Alright, so on the next inhale, you're going to straighten the legs as you look in between the hands. Exhale, engaging the core, step this right hand to the outside, or the right foot to the outside of the right hand. That makes more sense. Keeping that left leg lifted, straightening the left leg by pressing the back of the knee up towards the ceiling. On an exhale, you're going to start to pulse. And let's hold it there. Pressing that left heel back down. For another 3, 2. On your last one, you can drop that left knee and tuck the toes, coming into the low lunge on the right side here. So again, if your hips are feeling tight, walk the right foot out to the right. For more of an intense stretch, keep that right foot directly underneath the knee. You can always use a prop if you can't quite get your forearms all the way down towards the ground. Otherwise, let's all take a deep inhale. Exhale, start to bend those elbows as much or as little as your body is asking for right now. If you took that additional variation on an inhale, we're going to start to roll into the outside edge of that right foot. Exhale, dropping that right knee. So inhaling away. Exhale, releasing. Inhaling away. Exhale, releasing. On our next inhale, we're going to start to walk the hands back towards the body. Let's see if this time we can straight away inhale both hands up and overhead. Exhale, bending into that right knee. Maybe we can even challenge our balance by inhale, looking up towards the ceiling. Exhale, sinking into that right knee even further. If you took that additional variation on the other side, let's drop this right hand down to the side, maybe to the mat. Maybe we can even reach this left hand over to the right. Inhaling both hands up and overhead. Exhale, sinking just a little further. Final deep inhale. On an exhale, let's take both hands from either side of that right foot. Inhale, straightening that right leg. So starting off by pressing those toes into the mat, so you feel the stretch primarily in the front of the ankles and the shins. Exhale, walking those hands away from the body. If you can comfortably bring the hands toward the ground. Wherever you're at, let's all inhale halfway up. Exhale, we're going to slide that right foot away from the body, flex the toes back towards the body a lot. And then we're going to drop the weight from that left hip down towards our left heel. So you should feel that stretch in the entire back of the leg, back of the knee. One more deep inhale. If you want to get into the IT bend on the outside of the leg, let's take this left hand, bring it all the way over to the right. Inhaling back to center. Bend into that right knee. Heel toe as you exhale. Walk that right foot over to the left. Coming into our pigeon on the opposite side. So again, keeping that weight even, not dumping it all the way over to the right. Use whatever you need in order to keep that weight evenly distributed, and whenever you're ready and you feel balanced, let's gently walk the hands away from the body as much or as little as you'd like. If you're comfortable here, you can additionally make some modifications by walking that right foot away from the body to increase the stretch. Maybe bring it a little bit closer towards the body if it's feeling too much. Mindful Monday, so listen to yourself. And inhale, let's slowly start to walk the hands back towards the body. This time keeping that left hand planted, bending your left knee, reach back with your right hand. Let's just see if we can grab that foot. If we can, we're going to make it even more intense. Inhale as you pull that foot into the body. Exhale, shift the weight into that left hand. So 2 more times, stay at that maximum range of motion. Inhaling foot into the body. Exhale, weight into the hands. 1 more time. Alright, let's exhale, releasing that foot and the hand back down to the mat. Tuck these left toes underneath you. Lift that left knee. Shoot this right foot back to meet the left. Exhaling. Back into a downward facing dog. Then as we inhale, let's look in between our hands, and we're going to walk the feet all the way up towards the hands, coming into a forward fold at the front of the mat. So keeping a little baby bend in the knees for now. Grabbing opposite elbows will help us lengthen and decompress the spine a bit more. I like to let my upper torso rock side to side. This is a great stretch again for the low back. And try to really press your upper torso the opposite direction as your hips. So you feel the stretch in the low back and sides of the low back. Then on the next inhale, let's come back to center. We're going to let the hands hang heavy. We're going to start to bend one knee, straighten the other knee. You can always keep a little more of a bend if you have low back pain, or even use a prop to give you additional support. Stretching out the hamstrings here. Then on your next inhale, let's straighten that left leg as we bend the right knee. So left leg straight, right knee bent. Inhale, shift the weight all the way into the toes. On an exhale, you're going to point this right knee over to the left side. Inhale, straightening that right leg. Exhale, bending the left knee. Inhale the weight all the way into the toes. Exhale, pointing that left knee over towards the right side. Inhale, straightening both legs. If you can easily touch the ground, let's see if you can step on your fingertips. If you can't quite touch the ground yet and you don't have any specific low back issues, grab on to wherever you can reach, whether that means your shins or your ankles. We're all going to do the same thing. On an inhale, I'm going to pull the crown of the head closer towards the toes. On an exhale, press your chest back towards your thighs, letting your elbows go wide. In a gorilla pose. Alright, let's release the fingers from underneath the toes. Step the feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart. We're going to inhale the hands back behind us. Exhale as we reach those fists all the way up overhead. Wide leg fold. And slowly releasing those hands back down towards the mat. Keep the right hand in front of the face. Inhale this left hand high. Then on an exhale, you're going to bend your right knee so you can get even more of a twist here. If you want to go further, you can bend this left elbow, drop that left hand behind your back, Reach all the way around. Maybe some of you can even grab the inside of your right thigh. Use that as leverage to help rotate your left shoulder up towards the ceiling. Inhaling this left hand high. Exhale, planting this left hand in front of the face. Inhaling right hand high. Exhale as you bend your left knee. Maybe taking that bind on the other side by bending the right elbow. Reaching all the way around and grabbing the inside of the left thigh with the right hand. Inhale this right hand high. Exhale, planting it in front of our face. We're going to bring the feet back together, so they should be about mat distance apart with the toes pointed away from the body. On an exhale, let's drop those hips down towards the ground, coming into a squat position. Okay. Inhale, popping them back up to a wide leg forward fold. Hamstring time. Exhale, popping it down. And hips. Inhale, straightening. We're about to get loose up in here, guys. Exhale, dropping it down. Stay with me. Inhale, straightening. 2 more times. What do you say? Exhale, releasing. Inhale, straightening. Alright, exhale, releasing. It just gets funner from here because now we get to hold it in this squat pose. Everyone's favorite, right? So bring your hips as close as you can come to the ground. Trust me, I did not start off with this flexibility. I was more like this when I first started doing yoga. So with time, practice, trust me, you'll get there just like anything. So if you started off like me, again, listen to where you're at and your boundaries. If you can pretty easily come to the ground, bring your palms together. You're going to use your elbows to press your knees a little bit further apart. Sitting up tall. We're going to hold it for another 5, 4, 3, 2. On your last one, let's bring those hands back behind us so we can comfortably come onto our sit bones. Okay, from here, another seated cat-cow variation, grabbing onto the front of your shins on the inhale, pulling your chest forward. Exhale, rounding back. Do a few more times, inhaling forward. Exhaling back. Again, inhaling forward. Exhaling back. From here, we're going to grab onto the back of our thighs. Bring your knees in a tabletop position at a 90-degree angle. See if you could bring your chest even closer towards your thighs. If that's too much for you, you're just going to keep your legs straight, sitting up as tall as you can. We're all going to do the same things. If you're in a position with your knees into your chest, you're going to reach your hands out in front of you. Try to straighten your legs. And then we're all going to slowly lower, as slow as we can, all the way down to the mat. Then once you touch the mat, you're going to hug your knees into your chest. And you're going to start to rock side to side, back and forth, releasing any tension you're feeling in the low back. So this is an amazing one for anyone that does have low back pain. Allow the ground to kind of act like a pressure point to release any tension you may be feeling. So any specific area, just stop, pause, and breathe into that. Maybe making some small circles, figure eights. Let's take some extra time here today for Mindfulness Monday, because low back pain is pretty much something that everyone suffers from unless you actively do something like this. Just from our day-to-day lives, being seated most of the time like a lot of us are causes low back pain. Being athletic causes low back pain, so it's kind of hard to avoid, especially as you get older. Alright. On your next inhale, we're going to come back to center. Keeping the knees tightened towards your body, you're going to cross your left knee over your right knee. So they're interlaced in the center like this. Then we're going to inhale the arms out to a T. On an exhale, drop both of your knees over towards the left side. So this way you can use your left leg to press down on your right leg to increase the stretch as much or as little as you want. If you can't quite get your knees all the way down towards the ground, you can always use a little block to help you. You can drop your head over towards the right if you want more of a release for the shoulders. Every exhale, see if you could press down on your bottom leg just a little further. Right. In our next inhale, keeping our legs crossed the same direction, we're going to bring the knees back into center. Exhale over to the other side. So this time, I'm using my right leg to press down on my left calf to increase the stretch. You can even take your right hand and press down on your left knee. Okay, let's inhale back to center. Uncross the legs. You're going to keep the left knee, into your chest. Straighten your right leg. Then with your left hand, you're going to press your left knee open towards the left side, stretching out the inside of the hip. Every exhale, see if you could press down on your left knee just a little further. All right, inhale back to center, hug those knees in tight, rock it out. Giving some extra TLC and love to our low back. This is great for sciatic pain as well. So for those of you that suffer from sciatic pain, this is one that I would recommend starting to add into your day-to-day routine. Let me know how it goes. All right, on our next inhale, let's come back to center. This time you're going to cross your right leg on top of your left, or the opposite of whatever you just did. Arms out to a T. Exhale, dropping both of those knees over towards the right side. And your right leg, or the leg on top, is going to press down on your bottom leg. This is one of my personal faves. You should be feeling it all along the side of the low back, outside of the hip. Every exhale, press down on that leg just a little bit more. Okay, let's inhale back to center. Keeping those knees tight into the body. Slowly exhaling over to the other side. Now my left leg is pressing down on my right calf to increase the stretch. If you want even more, drop your head over towards the right. I need this one right now. I don't know about you guys. Okay, let's inhale back to center. Keeping this right knee in tight towards our body, we're going to straighten this left leg and then press that right hip open out towards the right, getting into the psoas, the inside of the hip. All right, inhaling back to center. Rocking it out a few more times, stopping, pausing, breathing into where you're feeling extra tension. And then we're going to drop both the feet towards the mat. Keep the knees up towards the ceiling. You're going to keep your feet about mat distance apart. On an exhale, drop both of your knees over to the left side. You're going to pick up your left foot, place it on top of your right knee, and then press down even further. This is another great one for the whole side of the body, from your hip all the way to the back. Every exhale, see if you can press down on your right knee with your left foot just a little bit more. Alright, releasing that left foot off the right knee. Keeping the feet exactly where they are. Inhaling the knees back up towards the ceiling. Exhale over towards the other side. This time taking your right foot, placing it on top of your left knee, and then pressing that knee as close to the ceiling or floor as you could get. I'm getting yoga high over here. So each exhale, see if you could press down a little bit further. Alright, release that right foot off with the left knee. Inhale the knees back towards center. Rock it out one more time. And then again, keeping this left knee in towards the body, we're just going to cross this right foot on top of the left knee, coming into a figure 4 pose this time. So interlacing the hands behind that left thigh. Alright, now that we got this set up, on an exhale, you're going to pull this left leg as close as you can towards your body. So I'm going to give you several different options and modifications here, and you just do whatever feels best for you. Hashtag Mindfulness Monday. So the next variation, if you want to go a little bit further, on an exhale, you're going to start to press your right knee away from your body with your right elbow. So on an inhale, you're pulling this left knee or the left leg in. On an exhale, you're pressing that right knee away. If that feels good and you want to go further, you can start to slide your right foot closer down towards your hip crease. The closer you bring it towards your hip, the more of an intense stretch you will feel. So you can take any one of those variations. The hips are tight for almost everyone, but especially during these high stress times, if you believe in chakras, that's where we hold our energy, our emotional energy. So there may be some things coming up when you get into these deep hip opening series. Alright, on an exhale, you're going to release the hands from behind that left thigh. Uncross the right foot from the left knee. Hug those knees in tight. Rock it out. Alright, coming back to center, keeping that right knee in tight. We're going to take that left foot, place it on top of the right knee. Interlace fingers behind that right thigh. Deep inhale here. Exhale, pulling the right thigh in towards the body. That's going to be our starting point. Then maybe you want to start to press your left knee away with your left elbow as you exhale. So inhaling right knee in, exhaling left knee away. Or you can even bring that left foot closer towards your right hip. Don't forget to breathe here. One more deep inhale. On an exhale, let's uncross the legs, hug those knees in tight, start to rock it out, side to side, back and forth. And then coming back to center, we're going to grab the inside of the feet, stacking the ankles directly above the knees, moving into a happy baby pose. So you don't want your knees to be, or your feet to be in towards the body. Try to get your legs in a 90-degree angle, and then you're pressing your knees down towards the ground. From here, some people like to continue to rock side to side, still loosening up that low back, as well as engaging the core a bit so you don't fall just straight over. I like to take it even further by keeping one leg bent. Try to straighten the other leg as much as possible, even if you can't get it all the way straight. And then you're going to alternate sides. So you feel it on the inside of the legs, hips, thighs. Let's play around with it by now grabbing the outside of the feet. Probably feeling it a little bit more on the outside of the legs. And then finally, let's bring the bottoms of the feet together in a butterfly pose. I feel like you get a lot more range of motion in these recline poses because back tightness and other things can make it hard to sit up straight when you're in this position. So we're going to do the same thing that we would do seated. On an inhale, you're pulling the feet in towards the body. On an exhale, you're pressing the knees away from the body. So staying at that maximum range of motion, let's see if we can do that 2 more times. Inhaling the feet in towards the body. Exhaling, knees away. Inhaling, feet in towards the body. Exhaling, knees away. One more deep inhale. Then on an exhale, before we move into our final resting pose, Shavasana, if you still feel anything else that your body's asking for that we didn't cover yet, I invite you to do that now. This is Mindfulness Monday, so listen to anything that your body still needs. Maybe you tuned into spots you weren't even aware of holding tension in. So let's take the next 30 seconds to do that now. And maybe you're done and you're ready for Shavasana, and that's listening to your body as well. Our bodies hold so much wisdom. The challenge is quieting the mind to be able to listen and receive those messages, which can be especially difficult right now in high stress times for literally the world. So that's why yoga, I feel, can be even more impactful than it already has ever been. So if you are ready to move into our final and oftentimes believed to be most important pose, you can just come into a comfortable seated position or reclined position, laying down. Take a moment to have some water, adjust yourself so you can remain still in a reclined position for a few moments. I'm going to sit up though so you could hear me speak clearly. You can have your palms up for receiving, down for grounding. Close your eyes. And let's all take this final scan of the body. Noticing any subtle differences you may already feel. Simply by taking an hour out of your day to be present and breathe. That's powerful and something and a power you can connect to anytime, anywhere, regardless of your outside circumstances. Let's think about how that shift of energy feels physically. So let's allow the face muscles to get soft around the eyes, jaw. Let the tongue release from the roof of your mouth. Let's move that awareness down to the neck and shoulders, feeling any remaining tension just melt away. Oh, the breathing to return back to normal. The belly can soften. Eyes, knees, shins, ankles, all just melt a little heavier into the mat until you feel that awareness of your own power envelop your entire body from head to toe. And we're just going to take the next few moments to sit with the magnitude of that before we move back into the remainder of our day, our upcoming week, emerging as a higher version of ourselves, ready for whatever may be in store. Whenever you're ready, we can start to bring some awareness back into the body. First, let's start by wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes. Maybe rolling out the ankles and the wrists. Reaching overhead, giving ourselves a nice morning stretch. let's come into this comfortable seated position whenever you're ready. Any way that's comfortable for you. With our eyes closed, let's take this final inhale, reaching the hands all the way up overhead. Imagine us scooping up some new energy, some new abundance. Let's exhale the hands to center, releasing a little bit of gratitude into the world. So much to be grateful for. Despite everything else going on, there's always something to be grateful for. So let us move forward in the rest of the week with that mindset. I hope you all have a blessed and blessed rest of this day. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.